What is going on, everyone? It's your girl, Rebecca Ruber, here with Inside the Ring. And today on the show, we have a very special guest. I typically interview fighters that I don't know at that time on a personal level, but I am honored to have Malachi Georges on the show. He is not only my teammate, he's like a brother to me. And big flex, he is the New Jersey Golden Glove, Diamond Glove Interstate champ and New York City Metropolitan champ. Malachi, how you feeling today?
Feeling good. I'm feeling good. Another day in the office, and I'm just keep working. I got a lot of things I want to accomplish. We're going step by step. But as long as I'm in here every single day, going just 1% better, I'm good.
So the reason I really wanted to get you on the show today is because in a couple of weeks you're going to be in Texas for nationals, right?
My very first national. Yes.
So we're going to get to that in a bit, but I kind of want to bring it back a little bit. I like to start from your very humble beginnings. When did you pick up your first pair of gloves and why?
Well, I say it starts about 3 years ago. What should I say, 4? I was playing football, and a lot of my peers, they ended up getting growth spurts before me. Even the other teams and things like that. At the time I played quarterback, and it got to the point where it was hard for me to even throw over my offensive line or get down the field. My wide receivers are outrunning me because everybody got a little bit taller and stronger before I did. And then it started getting to the point where on my team, I played both sides of the ball. So I would play safety and things. And it started getting to the point where, because it was so strong, I started shying away from the contact. And So my uncle seen the issues, and he was like, you know what? I want him to get a little more like mentally strong. So he wanted to bring me into like fight sports. And my dad was like, no. Because my dad boxed when he was younger. He's like, why? No, he doesn't need to. Because my dad always says I'm a nerd. I always came up.
He does say that.
Yeah, I always came up like good grades, studied a lot. I was always into mostly throughout high school, more into anime and things like that. But as a younger kid, I was just watching cartoons and stuff. So my dad sees this and goes, "That's not a fighter. I don't see a fighter." So when my uncle's like, "Nah, I'm gonna take him to the," he's like, "Ah." So my dad really wasn't behind it. My uncle's taking me. I would go. I met these coaches. I met Coach Don, Coach Joe, Coach Dredd. I started working with them. Coach Don introduced me to the other coaches. I started training with Coach Dredd, and learned some things there. And as time went on, we were with him for a while. I think we were with him for at least 2 years with him. And my dad started really seeing that I was getting better, but he didn't like the fact that certain things that I needed to learn I wasn't learning. So, we made some changes in the training. Trained with a few different coaches here and there, We trained with coaches it was a coach named Coach Tafari who owned the gym that we had transferred to. So, Bergen PAL.
Was that Savage?
Yes, Savage.
Yes, okay.
Bergen PAL was at the Bergen PAL. Then we moved over to Savage at one point. They were, co-owning. And then once they moved and made different breed. I was also at a different breed at the time too, but I continued to train with, that coach Safari for a while, winning it out. But a lot of the times, at that time, that was right when COVID hit. So the end of that became we're in the house. I had already had my first fight. In that time period, I actually went and trained at True Warriors for a while to get accustomed to the area, and also I did learn some things too there. I actually did learn some things, but
well, how'd you do in your first fight?
First fight, I actually did much better than I thought I was.
Really?
Because I had already been sparring for a year and a half, 2 years,
Okay.
But I never been under the lights yet, so that was also different, and I really had a lot more excitement, more so than nervousness, because I'm already kind of used to being in the ring. And then they gave me small gloves, and after that, I was exploding with energy. They told me to calm down on the pads because I was so excited to let my hands go.
The adrenaline.
So.
Well, how do you take your emotions going from being emotional and letting it overtake you, and splitting that up so that you can fight with aggression, with power, but not letting it consume your performance, if that makes sense? Well, how do you separate the two?
Well, I've gotten way better at it now because now what I do is I kind of remind myself like, I've been in the ring before. This isn't anything new.
Hmm.
I've been to plenty of different gyms, plenty of other places that I'm not familiar with, and I've been able to perform. So, and it also doesn't matter who's in the crowd or who's around. It's the same setting every single time. Some settings are louder than others. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I just treat it as I've experienced something similar already, so I don't have to overthink what's going on. Like I kind of keep that in my head. Like I'm especially gonna also come back and let you know how that changes if it does when I go to the nationals, because I know that setting is much different than any setting I've been in, because that's multiple rings, different bells. So I believe I'll do fine, but it's also a new experience for me because it is my first. So that would be really, really cool to do.
Well, going from your first fight, what's been, because you said that you weren't the biggest kid on the block. So what has been the weight and height difference from when you started to just 4 years?
Okay,
what's the difference now?
My weight walking into the gym, and I would say like the first 4 months of me being in the gym, as soon as I walked in, I was about 125 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And
wow.
Now I'm 189 pounds. So.
And I mean, height-wise, I
was 5'6", 5'5". Now I'm 6'3".
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
And I should preface this by saying Malachi's only 19 years old, so you're still growing, dude.
Yeah.
So
that was when I was 15, turning 16. So.
Wow.
I always really liked boxing, like especially once I really started learning how fast I was growing in it.
Mm-hmm.
But it really did grow on me, like over the last couple of years, especially over that time in COVID.
Yeah.
Especially over that time.
Why that time?
That time specifically because I wasn't able to fight, and I started to get that itch.
That hunger.
Yes, I really started. I had already had 2 fights at that point. I had just fought another fighter, and I ended up actually losing that fight. Feels biased, but
that's boxing.
End of the day,
right?
it's on record. So but that fight happened. Some time passes. I'm in school, and I'm talking about lockdown for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks turns to 2 months, turns to we're not going back to school online.
We know that.
Yeah. So, that happened, and during that time, I really started getting the itch. I wanted to get in the ring. I couldn't spar as much as I wanted to. I really wanted to. It was hard. It was hard. I started getting heavier, and I started even working out at home and bringing my weight down, staying close to fight weight, even though I didn't have a fight coming up, just because I had that. Like I was so ready to, and at the time, we really couldn't go to gyms because all the gyms were shut down.
Yeah.
And at that time, I started bugging my dad, like, yo, you boxed before. Teach me some things. He's like, I got to go to work. But we were, when work slowed down for him, because at that time it really did slow down.
Yeah.
When we were around each other all the time, it got to the point where, like, we just started working. I was always bugging him. So he's like, all right. He started showing me things.
Now, I know sometimes it can get challenging having your dad kind of like coach you, and because you have that personal relationship.
Yeah.
How is the dynamic between you and your dad when it comes to teaching you boxing? Like, are you able to disconnect yourself, like when he's really hard on you and you're like, oh, like, it's just like, it's my dad. Like it sometimes the dynamic could throw people off, and people maybe don't want to listen because it's their dad, or sometimes it gives them more of a reason to listen because it's their dad. Like how is that dynamic between you two?
Well, at this time specifically during COVID was when I was really able to like make that adjustment to get comfortable with learning things like from boxing from him, because I already understood like how he would have authority and things like that, and how I would get frustrated,
Yeah.
But I really got to learn that it's not about the tone of voice he says things, but it's about the context of what he's saying.
Yeah.
And that really helped a lot, because now I take that with me, all throughout like my training and everywhere I go, because before that I used to really struggle with that. I used to, my dad's just angry. He's just
Yeah.
But now I hear him, like, and then now it's gotten to the point where, because we had that time, it even helped our personal relationship much better, where now I'm able to just, if something doesn't make sense, I can come to him and say, hey, well, I I don't see how that makes sense. Can you explain that to me? Like, you know, like I feel as though maybe this is right and, and that's not right. And now we can actually have a conversation.
Yeah.
And he's taught me. It really helped us a lot more because now I'm really understanding how to really more so be like a man in a sense where, you know, we can really use our minds now.
Yeah, you can talk man to man.
Yes, now it's not so much emotional anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, it's still emotionally connected, but it's not so much. He says something, I react emotionally, he reacts emotionally.
Yeah.
We're mad at each other. Now it's like we're able to speak. We're able to calm down. All right, see what it is, and it's much smoother now. It's much
That's
much
great.
better.
You have that healthy communication with your dad. Not too
Yes.
many people can say they have that type of relationship with their
Right.
parents in general. So you started off boxing. You walked into the gym at 125,
Yeah.
5'5", 5'6". All right, now you've sprouted up. You've gained some weight, all muscle.
Yep.
Now, what has changed in regards to your style? I mean, obviously time changes your style, but do you feel like that drastic weight change has forced you to change how you fight?
Actually, no.
Really?
It's actually pretty much stayed the course of how I've always wanted to fight. I've always been like prone to be a little more like I love like slick boxing. That's really always been a thing with me. And I really like, even though certain things weren't proper at the time, I still was able to keep that like slickness about me. And I've always wanted to keep it that way, you know? And even though I've gotten bigger, that didn't change anything at all. Like, I see a lot of bigger fighters, they, you know, when they were smaller, they were one way, and they get bigger, and now they're all power, all brute and muscle. But I never got that way. Even though I got bigger, I'm just a bigger version of what I used to be. But now I have more experience, I'm better, things are cleaner.
Yeah.
So it just, the growth really had nothing to do with it. All of it was just evolution.
A couple weeks ago, you won the Diamond Interstate Championship.
Yes.
Now, could we talk a little bit about that weekend? That was at the Showboat in Atlantic City, New Jersey, right?
Yes.
Can you talk me through what exactly that being a Diamond Glove Interstate Champion means? How does that affect your standing, whether it's statewide, nationwide? Like, how does that work for those that aren't familiar? Because I know not all states have Diamond Gloves. So.
Okay, so I'm pretty much number one in my state right now.
Okay.
That's what I am, because I won the Diamond Glove State Championship, then I won the Interstate. So I'm Diamond Glove State Champion, Interstate Champion, which means like there's no one above me, basically. Like, as far as me winning, now that makes me number one interstate and state. So like between, so state, everyone in New Jersey, I'm number one in my weight class. Interstate, what was the state? I fought a guy from DC. I think there was some other states in the tournament as well. So I'm number one in the interstate, which means I'm above all of them representing New Jersey.
Yeah.
So that pretty much, I'm just number one in my area right now. That's what it is.
Well, I'm going to be putting a couple of clips from that fight, and you could just see. I mean, I think that the clips speak for themselves. You absolutely had a phenomenal performance. But obviously, as fighters, we're always nitpicking things that we do, and we're always looking to improve. So what's something from that fight that you're looking to improve on going into nationals coming up?
Main thing, staying in my frame a little bit better.
Okay.
That's definitely going to be good to see, because with my size, even though I like to stay slick and skillful, which I still will be, I am very imposing. I have learned that as of the last 6 months that I am a very imposing, it took me a while to realize my size. Yeah. But now that I realized it, I understand
No, you look scary in there. I've seen you fight live, so yeah.
Yeah. But so working on that and just sharpening everything up. Everything else is pretty much there. I have like Coach Barry would say, I'm full toolbox. Everything's just sharpening everything up, staying smooth, staying ready, and everything should be great. Yeah.
Well, like you kind of foreshadowed before about you going to nationals, it's a completely different animal. You're going to be fighting people from all over the country. There's multiple rings going on. It's a different atmosphere. Besides that being a big difference, what are some things that you specifically worked on in this fight camp that you believe is helping you become better prepared for nationals?
Specifically, I would say a lot of the technique work.
Uh-huh.
Because that's very important, and it's always been important, but it's very important for me coming into this, because now the things that I would have thought about, like say if I had to fight maybe this weekend about whether how a punch comes out, me putting thought into it, because I'm doing so much technique work, I won't have to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things will look very good without me having to think about it, and it'll make my thinking process in the ring much, much, much easier.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's something that's really gonna help me.
This is definitely not good. This is the first time, but it's definitely not going to be the last time we're going to be seeing you traveling for the sport of boxing. And
definitely going to be traveling a lot more. Yes.
We're definitely going to be excited to see you in that ring and, you know, see what the end outcome is. Hopefully you come back to Jersey a national champion.
I believe I will. I don't think there's anyone who's training as hard as me or you know, putting in as much work as I am. So, you know, for someone to beat me, you better be training hard. You better be going really hard, because if you're not doing what I'm doing, you're not beating me.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So. I love that. And I mean, just working alongside you in the past 3 weeks, every time I see you, every time I've seen you fight, you're constantly getting better, you know. Just those small incremental changes make such a big difference. So it's great, just even from my end, seeing the growth. And like you teach me a lot just by watching you. And honestly, you obviously have the physical aspect of it. But one thing that I think makes you different than the other fighters out there is your mindset. Like the way that you carry yourself. The first time I met you, you had the sportsmanship. Some people just go into the ring here and they think it's just a street fight, but just in the ring. And they have they don't realize that the combat sport, it's all about respect of your opponent.
Yes, it is.
And that's something that you hold true wherever you go, and I have nothing but respect for that. And you hold yourself well inside and outside the ring. So I'm excited to see your future, and you know, to have people on the grander scale see what you got.
Yes.
So before we wrap up, and I have you shout out anybody that you want to shout out, I have a little segment I like to do with my pro boxers that I interview called Unboxing the Boxer. So if you've seen any of my videos, I have this Tupperware. I shake it up, you pull out a question, you read the question, and then you answer it as to the best of your ability. It's a bunch of random personal questions. So you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, now don't look at it. You just have to pull one out, okay?
I got one.
And just keep it to the side.
All right. What's one country you'd love to visit? Country I'd love to visit. I'd love to visit Canada, actually.
Canada?
Yeah.
Why?
I've heard so much about it. You know, there's a lot of things I've read about it. I've even sparred a couple people from Canada as well.
Yes, yeah.
So I feel like it would be a nice experience just to go there. It's somewhere I've never been. So yeah, I feel like that's somewhere I would like to go. Yeah.
Do you speak French at all, or?
I don't. My dad does.
So I did hear that your dad was able to talk to some of the fighters when you and Mike went sparring, and I was completely surprised that he knew French. How does he know French?
Okay, so my grandfather is Haitian and my grandmother's Dominican.
Okay.
So my grandfather knew French and Creole. My grandmother knew Creole and Spanish. So,
okay.
And she knew some French as well. So he learned that basically from them. All right, let me see. If you could go back to your 13-year-old self, what advice would you give my 13-year-old self?
We can even say go back to the boy you were when you first walked into the gym for the first time. We can even say it to that time.
I would tell myself keep being consistent. Keep being consistent. And I actually might not change anything, really. I might not change anything. I might tell myself the same mindset that I had at the time, which was once I start something, finish it, keep the mindset, keep it, no matter what. Don't let anybody tell you to not keep that. You have that, it only gets stronger as you go. Keep that mindset. I would have just told myself that.
Well, clearly it's working, so yeah, that's a good answer.
What is your dream? Dream meal after weigh-in?
Is my handwriting that bad?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was like, damn.
It's not. Dream meal after weigh. Dream meal after weigh in. Ooh, I love food. So this is like I gotta
Think like
pick
Last Supper. Like think like you could have the dream meal. Anything. No budget.
After weigh-ins. Well, right now I'm amateur, so I know after weigh-ins I gotta fight. So I might do.
Think of it as your last weigh-in, like your last weigh-in before you wrap up on the tournament, where like you can eat after your fight and like actually have a good meal after you win nationals. We'll phrase it like that. After you win nationals, what's your dream meal to eat after all that hard work?
I might have to do a seafood boil. I haven't done one of those in a while.
Ooh.
That sounds very, very good.
That sounds
I
amazing.
would love to do that. That would be good. That would be good. Who is one celebrity you would like to sit down and have dinner with? One celebrity I would like to sit down and have dinner with. Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boxing and business kind of talk?
Yes, I have a lot of different questions because he's where I'm trying to get to, and he's hit all the steps that I'm trying to hit. So what is one thing the fans may not know about you? Weird talents, for example. So I'm very musically inclined. I love dancing. I love I don't sing, but I try. So,
Do you have a specific genre of music that you like to dance to? Do you have a certain style, like vocal style?
Well, even though not because it's blowing up right now, I actually liked it previously before that, but like Jersey club music and things like that.
Okay.
That's like something I enjoy watching people dance to it, dance battles and things like that. I watch that.
DJ Malachi in the house.
Yeah, I like to try and dance myself. I'm all right. I could do some things. I'm okay.
I've seen you in between rounds.
Yeah, but
with some good throwbacks on, get you in the mood.
Yeah, but I really do love music. Actually, here's a fun fact: not many people know about me.
Let's hear it.
I actually like roller skating, and it's funny because that's how my parents met.
No way.
We met roller skating, yeah. And now I'm here. So
now this is the time. If you have anyone you want to shout out your social media, anything, plug what you got to plug. That's all you.
I definitely want to give a shout out to this man right here. Very great trainer. Learned a lot in a very short period of time, and I just can't wait to really take over. That's if I could shout out anybody, it's him right here.
Yeah.
But you can follow me on Instagram at Malachi_Messenger. That's MALACHI _ 2 underscores MESSENGER. Malachi_Messenger. So that's where you can follow me on Instagram, and just keep your eyes out for me. I'm going to win everything, so it would be good if you started looking at me now. So thank you.